and I'd like to talk about the history of Eddie Benitez and Nebula. We started doing block parties and concerts at parks back in early 1975, and basically we enjoyed performing for free. We enjoyed just performing and having a good time. Uh, you would call us and we would perform. Funny, but performing for free and when you're having fun seems to be better than when you're performing for money. And I miss that part about it. But we were like crazy young kids in Brooklyn, New York, growing up, and we had a great time.
When I look around, I feel like crying. Because I see your smile, knowing your heart is dying. You better stop, girl. You better look around. You better find another guy who knows.
I remember we did about 10 Battle of the Bands in '75, and we won all of them. In the last Battle of the Bands at Eli Whitney High School in Brooklyn, there was a few record labels there who wanted us to sign with them. I decided to sign with Fania Records because they were an independent company and growing quickly, and they had the best Latin and Latin jazz musicians. They had Tito Puente, Mongo Santamaria, Perico Ortiz, Louis Ramirez, Ray Barretto. I mean, to meet all of these guys in one room was fantastic. And I had the opportunity to meet everybody, including the Queen Celia Cruz, who I adored. It was a beautiful time. Of course, we went into the studio, and partway through the studio time for our first LP, we had several musicians who showed up late. We had a couple of musicians who showed up high. And I was determined that I was not going to be that type of musician to think over right now, to be high, come late.
This generation keeps having fun. Little do they know that their lives are done. Come on, my son, and be someone. Don't let me cry, 'cause I will die. Oye, mi hijo, oye la canción de esta nueva generación. Lo canto yo del corazón. Baila mi gente, para que goce mi gente.
So the following year, in 1977, we started to record our Essence of Life album. That album went on the Benitez alone. We excluded the name Nebula just for that one album. And Nancy and her brother Dino did most of the lead vocals. The sound was kept the same. We still had the harmonies in it, and it worked out really well. I enjoyed doing the second album better than the first album. Of course, we had all new drummer, all new keyboard players, bass player, percussionist. Of course, Gregory was still with us, and Nancy O'Neill. We added Dino on the vocals, and we had a beautiful time recording it because everybody was on time in the sessions, and everybody was sober. Nobody came in high on anything or drunk on anything. Everybody was clean, and we had a great time. We performed at the on WRVR Live by way of the Village Gate. We did a show at the Village Gate, and it was like so cool that it was going to be recorded and live on WRVR radio on Thursday nights. So we had a massive audience to listen to us and got a lot of great feedback. And we toured that year, had a great time in Europe. It was fun, seriously. I enjoyed meeting people of different countries and cultures, and it was a great thing in my life, you know. After we came back from tour, we just sat down a while and reflect and see what we would do next.
So real, yes, you make me feel like a bluebird flying high in the sky. And you make me feel, yes, you make me feel, and you make me feel so good, so so good, so good.
What I once had of love so unpure, but you let me know that your love was secure. You make me feel, you make me feel, yes, you make me feel so
So we
good.
did our tours, 77, 78, 79. I took halfway through 79, I was a little burnt out and just decided to take a breather. And I decided to join Island Records. So I went to Island Records after asking for a release from Fonny Records. And I wanted to work on a different type of music with still the Latin elements in it. And we rehearsed for about a year and a half. Then I started feeling sick. I started losing weight. And a year later it was determined I had Hodgkin's, which is a type of cancer. And there my world was kind of like shattered. I got lost. I remember it was like 10:30 at night when the doctors came up to my hospital room and told me that the biopsy was positive for Hodgkin's. I was on the 8th floor, and I went to the window and I told God, you know, God, give me the strength to either deal with this or give me the strength to jump out the window. And right then and there I knew that God had given me the strength to deal with cancer. So I spent basically 3 years battling cancer, chemotherapy, radiation, throwing up a lot, and it was one of the worst times of my life, but yet one of the great learning experiences that I've ever endured. Meeting other people at the hospital who had cancer, and at times the same people who would sit next to me in another lounge chair to receive chemo, a few months down the road they wouldn't be there anymore because they would have passed away. And I always found myself missing them and crying for them, because after meeting them and becoming friends with them, One day they were there no more. It was a sad part of my life right there, having to see that and deal with that.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad 'cause you've gone. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone. Feel so bad, I can't go on alone, 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 without you.
So then after the cancer, I took a few years off and I went and did Latin freestyle music, produced, performed, just had fun dancing and doing things like that. It was cool back East Coast at the time. It was a big money maker back then, but I didn't care about money. I just wanted to have fun. So then I moved to Arizona, to Florida in 95, and then to Arizona in 99. And that's the year that I received a phone call that my sister was near death, and I flew to New York, and she had passed away a half hour before I got there. Sloan Catering. And she was a big part of my music life and my personal life, my number one fan. And I miss her dearly, and it was sad. My father took the news very hard because that was his favorite little girl. And 6 months after that, my father passed away from heartbreak, and we all knew that. And about 2 years after that, my mother passed away, and that was very hard on me. That took its toll on me, and I just disappeared from everybody for a few years. Then I was approached. We had a thing that happened in my house, that my son was possessed. So word got around, and the Discovery Channel got a hold of it. And for about 6 months, they were begging me if they could do an episode on it for their show, A Haunting. At the time, I was working on my new CD, Lovers Never Say Goodbye, so I said, okay, let me do the music for the whole episode under those conditions. And They Cry was an instant success on that show. People love that record. I got many emails, and it sold a lot. And that was a start when I reinvented myself and reinvented my life, and it came across pretty good. Of course, the Haunting episode was the number one most watched episode of all the hauntings, and made me even more popular in Asia and other countries. 66 countries viewed that episode probably about 10 times a year, the same episode. So even now, 4 years later, it's like crazy. I still get emails, people still get requests, they think I'm a psychic. So it was well received, and I just enjoyed the new music I'm doing now. early 2009, I recorded my second CD with my new music, and called it Visions of Angels. I put what I consider a lot more passion and soul in that. And a lot of people categorized it smooth jazz again, but when they heard it, they said, no, this is world music, new age. And I put everything I could in it. I would put all the beautiful melodies I would hear in it, and of course, I brought in Howard Hewitt. He co-wrote A Child's Love with me, and we wrote that record for our daughters, from a father's point of view. And that record is a beautiful record and well received, and Howard was on the other track, Beautiful Sunrise. And my next CD, which I'll be working on in 2012, will have Howard again on it, and it's going to be even a better CD, and Howard's going to write a couple of tracks on it. So, we look forward to a great 2012, especially towards the latter part of the summer and the end of the year. So it looks great, and a lot of beautiful things are going to be happening. We have been working on reality shows now, but until Eddie Benitez is gone, he'll never be gone.
Magnificent, such innocence. God and all his angels sent a gift to me. Life became complete in this crazy world, wrapped in my arms. I'll protect you from harm. You're my life, my love, my child. Such innocence. Nothing in this world so perfect to me. What I feel, what I see, and in this world so cold, heaven knows the warmth that I feel while I'm watching you grow. You're my life, my